So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. The idea behind this lecture series is very simple. We want you to cover your current affairs, but we also want you to practice daily MCQs from it. Because these 4 to 5 MCQs from the topic of current affairs alone, covered on a daily basis, would add up to more than 1200 MCQs by the time you're ready for your prelims examination. And ask any serious aspirant and they would tell you that practicing 1200 MCQs from the topic of current affairs alone is more than sufficient. And I need not tell you the importance of current affairs. Well, current affairs form the most important portion of your prelims examination. Around 50% of your questions in prelims are directly or indirectly related to current affairs. Therefore, you cannot ignore them. So, make this lecture series a part of your daily routine. It should be a daily habit of yours. Alright then, let's begin today's discussion, starting with question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding biostimulants. It is a substance or a microorganism that when applied to plants, stimulate physiological processes in plants that boost growth. Currently, manufacture, sale, import of biostimulants is regulated by Fertilizer Control Order 1985. Fertilizer Control Order 1985 was issued under Essential Commodities Act. Okay, so you see, we all know that for agriculture, farmers, for better growth of their crop, they apply fertilizers, right? And they also apply insecticides, pesticides, okay, all these sides. Clear? Now, there is another category of substances that they apply which neither fall in the fertilizer category nor insecticide category, and that is called biostimulants. These biostimulants can be proteins, amino acids, seaweed grass. Okay, sometimes you add beneficial, good bacteria, okay, like rhizobium and all. They help better growth of your plant. Okay, so these substances that are applied on plants for better plant growth, which neither fall in the fertilizer category nor insecticide category, are known as biostimulants. So first statement is correct. Now, fertilizers in India are regulated as per Fertilizer Control Order 1985. But till 2021, okay, biostimulants were not regulated. Their manufacturing, their quality control, their sale, their import, it was not at all regulated. Everyone was free to do whatever they want. And that is not a good thing. Therefore, in 2021, this Fertilizer Control Order was amended and biostimulant regulations were added to it. So currently, they are regulated by Fertilizer Control Order. Now, this Fertilizer Control Order was issued under Essential Commodities Act. That is absolutely correct. Okay, so all three statements are correct, right? Now let's move on to question number 2. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. Good monsoons generally push headline inflation downwards. Statement 2. Food and beverages category has the highest weight in CPI combined headline inflation. Option 1. Both statements are correct and statement 2 is the correct explanation of 1. Option 2. Both are correct but 2 is not an explanation of 1. Option 3. 1 is correct, 2 is not correct. Option 4. 2 is correct, 1 is not correct. Now we have to choose the best option. Okay. Now listen. If there is good rainfall during the monsoon season, okay, then it will be beneficial for crops and their yield and their production. If their production is high, that would increase their supply. And you all know that whenever supply of anything is high or it increases, then it brings down inflation, right? Whenever supply exceeds demand, inflation comes down, right? So high supply will bring down inflation and high demand will move up the inflation numbers, right? So good monsoons lead to lower inflation, or I should say lower food inflation. But the thing is, well, food and beverages category, has the highest weight in consumer price index combined, which is also known as headline inflation. So there is good monsoon, food inflation will come down. And since food inflation has the highest weight in CPI, so overall CPI would also come down, right? So both statements are correct and 2 is the correct explanation of 1. Option A, right? Okay. Question number 3. Which of the following statements are correct regarding fertilizer consumption in India? Early onset of monsoon and higher than average rainfall during this season generally pushes the demand for fertilizers upwards. Diammonium phosphate is the second most consumed fertilizer, I should say. Yeah. Fertilizer in India, and most of its demand is met through imports. A significant chunk of India's urea imports come from China. Okay. Now look, if there is an early onset of monsoons, if the monsoons have arrived early and there is higher than average rainfall, then farmers would increase their acreage. That is more land under cultivation. That would basically increase the demand for fertilizers because now farmers are growing more crops, so they would require more fertilizers, right? So first statement is correct. Now the most consumed fertilizer in India is urea, and the second most consumed is DAP, diammonium phosphate. Okay. The problem with DAP is that 60% of it is met through imports. Okay. So second statement is also correct. Now we produce a lot of urea ourselves, but a significant chunk of our urea imports come from China. Around 26% of our urea imports come from China. So third statement is also correct because 26% is a significant chunk. Okay. So all 3 statements are correct. So the answer would be D. And last but definitely not the least, which of the following statements are correct regarding CYTB test recently launched by Kerala? It is an intradermal skin test to detect latent tuberculosis infection. Multi-dose vials of this test has longer shelf life and are usable for up to 28 days under refrigeration. It is developed under National Tuberculosis Elimination Program and supported by Indian Council of Medical Research. Okay. So you see, TB, tuberculosis, is of 2 types. One is normal, the other is latent. Now, what do you mean by latent? Okay. Normal is that, well, you have TB infection and you are showing TB symptoms and your body is showing TB symptoms, your health is not doing well. Okay. Now, latent TB is that your body does have TB bacteria, but it is not activated. That is why you are not showing any symptoms. So, latent TB is that your body has TB bacteria, but you're not showing any symptoms. But the risk is that this TB bacteria can get activated any time in future. Therefore, if you find out that though you are not showing any TB symptoms, but TB bacteria is there in your body, you should treat it immediately because you are running the risk of future activation. Clear? Now, under National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, India wants to eliminate TB completely. Therefore, well, it needs to screen for latent TB as well. Well, the people who show TB symptoms, well, they get all the treatment. But people who do not show any symptoms, it is very difficult to treat them because we do not know whether they have TB or not. Therefore, we need to conduct mass screening tests of people for latent TB, right? Now, the challenge with that is that TB tests are, first of all, very expensive. So, it would be difficult for government to do mass screening tests, okay? Plus, there is a big logistical challenge, okay? Generally, you do blood test for TB, okay? Then you require a good network of labs. So, it's a big logistical challenge. Plus, all these TB blood samples, they can't be preserved for long periods of time, right? So, this is a big problem for conducting mass screening. There are cost problems, okay, logistical problems. Therefore, what you have done is you have launched a test which is just a skin test. It does not require any labs. The results of this test also come early, okay? And it can be applied for mass screening tests because its cost is also low, okay? So it is an intradermal skin test to detect latent TB infection. Well, it can be preserved for longer periods of time, 28 days under refrigeration. So this solves for logistical challenge. and it was developed under NTEP, supported by ICMR. So this is also correct. All statements are correct. The answer is D. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But it would add more value if you revise this lecture as well. And by revision, I mean, well, reading the written detailed solutions to each and every MCQ we just discussed. Now, these solutions are available on our notes, and these notes are available on our Telegram channel. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section just below this video. So do check that out. And on that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of MCQs. Thank you, everyone.